100 warriors, swords drawn, but no one moves. Why? Because standing in front of them isn't just a man. It's Thors Snorresson, the Troll of Jom. A warrior so calm, so composed, his silence hits harder than steel. No yelling, no flexing, just pure heavyweight presence. Now, imagine you walked into a room and people parted like you were carrying a lightsaber. You didn't speak, you didn't pose, you didn't even make eye contact, but somehow everyone felt it. That, my friend, is aura, and no one builds it better than Thors from Vinland Saga. So, today, we're delving into exactly how Thors became a walking philosophy lesson, stoic, terrifying, and deeply respected. And more importantly, how you can build that same aura. No sword required. Kill the noise. Clarity is power. Ever notice how the quietest person in the room somehow feels like the scariest? Not scary like he's got a van full of snakes, scary, but powerful. Like they've already run 1,000 simulations in their head and don't need to prove anything to you. Here's the secret. It's not that calm people have boring lives. It's that they've decluttered their brain. According to researchers at the University of California, Irvine, constant interruptions, texts, pings, your chat group sending 87 memes a minute increase stress and wreck your focus. Basically, your brain becomes a browser with 37 tabs open and YouTube playing from one of them, but you don't know which. Mental clutter doesn't just kill productivity. It messes with your identity. When your brain's foggy, your presence gets fuzzy. And trust me, people feel that. Thors, the man that had the mental stillness of a forest at midnight? In Season 1, Episode 4, he boards Askeladd's ship like he's going grocery shopping, barefoot, and drops 5 trained killers using nothing but his dad's strength and stoic silence. No trash talk, no flexing, just calm, brutal clarity. In that silence, it screamed authority. Think about talking to someone who's physically there, but mentally they're on TikTok, planning dinner, and reliving that argument from 3 days ago. That energy, it's scattered, and people feel that. Now, compare that to someone fully present. Eye contact, steady, still. And you're like, are they a monk or a retired assassin? That's aura. That's clarity. If you want to build presence, start by being present. Here's a simple exercise. Every day, take 5 minutes to do absolutely nothing. No phone, no music, no TikTok rabbit holes. Just sit, breathe, let your brain unclog. That's it. You don't need to chant in Latin or float off the ground. Just be still. Call it meditation. Call it a brain reset. Call it rebooting your inner Viking. Doesn't matter. What matters is this: silence sharpens you. The world's loud. Aura comes from being the quiet in the storm. Mission over mood. Anchor yourself in purpose. Fun fact, people with a purpose are 10 times more attractive. And not just in the, hey cutie way, but in the, who is that and why do they walk like they got a destiny kind of way. Let's face it, having a mission makes you magnetic. It's like carrying a secret flame inside you. You don't need to show off, people just feel it. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, yeah, we're just calling him Dr. Flow from now on, discovered that people who chase meaningful goals enter this awesome mental zone called flow. You stop overthinking. You stop checking the clock. You stop wondering if that text you sent was too awkward. You just do. Let's talk about Thors, the man, the myth, the Viking dad with the softest voice and deadliest hands. He used to be the Jom's Viking goat, total war legend, but one day he vanished. Why? Because he realized fighting for nothing was, well, nothing. When he left the battlefield and chose peace over violence, people thought he'd gone soft. In reality, that was his final evolution. Thors wasn't aimless. He was focused, laser focused on protecting his son, living by his values, and breaking the endless cycle of bloodshed. That mission gave him weight, like a human anchor of calm in a storm of chaos. You've seen this in real life too. Think about that kid in your class who wakes up at 5 a.m. to train, works on a side hustle, or is always sketching ideas in a notebook like they're designing the next iPhone. They're not loud, but their vibe says, I've got bigger things to do than argue in the group chat. That's not a personality trait. That's a mission. So here's the secret. Mood is flimsy. Mission is fireproof. Some days you'll wake up tired, annoyed, or looking like you lost a fight with your blanket. That's okay. Mood lies. But if you've got a mission, you move anyway. So get a mission. One that goes beyond make money or look cool. It could be protecting your family, becoming mentally stronger, or building something that outlives you. Write it down. Read it daily. Anchor to it. And here's the bonus. Once you start moving with mission, people notice. You walk different. You talk different. You are different. Not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because you finally know where you're going. Don't wait for clarity. Choose your mission, then let your mission build your clarity. Control equals charisma. Master your reactions. What if your greatest flex was not flinching? Seriously, while everyone else is out here throwing emotional temper tantrums like toddlers who just lost Wi-Fi, you're built different. You don't flinch. And that, my friend, makes you dangerously charismatic. Here's the science to back it up. A 2018 study in the Journal of Applied Psychology found that people who regulate their emotions, especially under pressure, earn more respect in group settings. Even the Stoics were onto this centuries ago. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Translation: emotional control equals social power. In Vinland Saga, there's a moment when things go completely off the rails. Thors is surrounded, tension sky high, and then Bjorn eats the berserker mushroom. When Bjorn loses his mind on the mushroom, he charges in like a full-blown rage monster, growling, swinging, totally out of his mind. Thors, he doesn't panic, doesn't yell, doesn't even blink. He just waits, steps in, and knocks Bjorn out with one hit. No rage, no screaming, just calm, precise action. He didn't just win the fight, he owned the room. Because when a guy can stay zen while a berserker's trying to murder him, that's presence. That's aura. That's charisma forged in composure. Now, imagine you're in your version of that moment. Your boss criticizes you in front of everyone, or your friend drops a passive-aggressive comment, or someone cuts you off in traffic, flips you off, and blasts music that makes your ears ache. Old you, full DEFCON meltdown, brain buffering, revenge arc unlocked. New you, one breath, one pause, maybe even a smirk. That pause, that's your superpower. It makes people wonder what you know that they don't. Here's your next move. Use the one breath rule. Next time you feel triggered, annoyed, or ready to emotionally yeet yourself into a situation that you'll regret, just pause. Inhale, exhale. That's it. You're not being passive, you're being tactical. Over time, this small habit rewires your default setting from reactive goblin to stoic ninja. And people notice, because nothing, and I mean nothing, radiates confidence like someone who doesn't take the bait. That's Thor's energy. That's presence without noise. Be the calm in the chaos. That's how you turn control into charisma. Momentum is magnetic. Win small, win often. Did you know that momentum is more powerful than motivation? Here's what the Harvard Business Review found. When you stack small wins, tiny victories like finishing a task, showing up to a workout, or just not hitting snooze for once, your brain basically throws a mini party. That celebration lights up the reward center of your brain and tells you, hey, that felt good. Let's do it again. Boom. Momentum. You don't need to feel like doing something. You just need to start. And then your brain joins the party halfway through like, oh, we're doing stuff. Cool, I'm in. Let's look at the Viking king of slow, steady glow-ups, Thors. Thors didn't build his aura by doing epic Viking stuff 24/7. He lived simply, trained daily, raised his son. He chopped wood, fished, farmed. Nothing flashy, just consistency. But over time, that routine stacked, until his presence alone made warriors freeze mid-swing. That's not magic, that's habit, that's momentum. You've seen it, that person who's suddenly glowing up on social media. They're hitting the gym, learning new skills, reading books, meal prepping like a mini Gordon Ramsay, and you're like, wait, weren't they just binge watching anime with me last semester? Yeah, that's not just personality, that's momentum. They picked a lane, kept moving, now they're magnetic. People are drawn to momentum like moths to a ring light. And the best part? You don't need to start big, you just need to start. Here's the cheat code. Pick one win today. Just one. Make your bed. Do 5 push-ups. Answer that email you've been dodging like it owes you money. Finish a chapter. Take a cold shower. anything. Then tomorrow, stack another one on top. Keep going. Keep winning. Because the truth is, people don't follow perfection. They follow momentum. So, be the one moving forward, no matter how slow. One small win a day keeps self-doubt at bay. Self-image is everything. Who you think you are is who you become. What if the person holding you back is the person in the mirror? Psychologists call this self-concept theory. Fancy name, simple idea. Your actions will always try to match the identity you believe is you. So, if deep down you think you're a quitter, you'll start quitting. If you think you're awkward, you'll act awkward, even in moments where you were doing just fine. And here's the worst part. Even if you fake being confident, if you haven't changed the story in your head, your brain will sneak in later like, hey, this isn't us, and boom, self-sabotage. Thorfinn was stuck in identity crisis mode for years. After Thors died, Thorfinn built his whole identity around revenge. He wasn't a person anymore. He was just a walking rage bucket with knives. But after he loses his purpose, he crumbles. He doesn't know who he is without the hate. But when he finally redefines himself, not as a killer, but as a builder of peace, his presence starts changing. He starts carrying his father's calm, grounded aura. Ever try to act confident at a party while your brain's screaming, "Don't trip, don't talk, don't exist too hard"? That's the self-image glitch. You don't become the ideal version of yourself by waiting for confidence to arrive like a pizza delivery. You act like that version, even when it feels fake. Your identity is your operating system. If it's running on "I'm not good enough," no matter how hard you click, nothing's gonna load. Here's your mission. Write down your ideal self. Not just cool and successful. Be specific. How do they talk? How do they handle stress? What time do they wake up? How do they walk into a room? Now pick one trait from that list and do it today. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need a perfect plan. Just act like that version of you right now. Presence isn't built from who you were. It's built from who you decide to become. So if you want to build an aura like Thor's, here's your blueprint. Kill the noise. Anchor to purpose. Master your reactions. Stack small wins. Upgrade your identity. No sword, no screaming, just presence. Most people try too hard, but the truth is, aura isn't created, it's revealed. And the only way to reveal it is to become it. And your becoming starts today.